Welcome along to a brand new episode as we follow what's happening in England's fifth tier, and what a week it's been in the National League. More managerial changes, plus a new part owner of Salford City, David Beckham. We start the show with a shock homecoming for one of the division's most successful bosses. John Still retired before the turn of the year, but the 68-year-old who's won this league more than any other manager has returned to where it all started, Maidstone United, as their new head of football. His number 2 at Luton Town, Retton, has moved with him, quitting his post as boss of Braintree Town to take his place in the Maidstone dugout as head coach. Fans of the Stones are desperate for the Still-Retton partnership to result in survival come the end of the season.
Obviously I have a connection here that I've always stayed in touch with Bill Williams. When they spoke to me, it was an easy conversation really. It was just a case then of whether or not we could all agree on what we thought was best for the club, for me. Fortunately, we found the common ground, and I'm absolutely delighted about coming back in. Bill spoke to me about coming as head of football, to be in charge of all football on and off the pitch. I bring with me a terrific scouting system, which has found some fantastic players for me over the years, and the role just seemed the right one for me. The club is in a really difficult situation. Can we save it? I don't know. It's going to be an uphill battle, I'm going to be quite open, but I think the biggest thing is the challenge of trying to maintain the progress that they've made, but in doing that, give it a stronger base than perhaps it was on at this time, so it can push forward again. And I don't see any reason that it can't. It has great support. I think it's in a good area. It was just the right time, right place, right job for me.
Retton and Still's first test was against the leaders, Leyton Orient, but Justin Edinburgh's men went into the clash having suffered back-to-back defeats, also failing to score. Maidstone's new coaching duo almost made an immediate impact inside the opening 20 minutes. Josh Taylor led the counter-attack, playing in defender Michael Phillips, whose shot was comfortably saved by Dean Brill. Past the half-hour mark, the O's had a long throw, which resulted in a Jordan Maguire-Drew shot that deflected past Ethan Ross. 1-0 and a first goal for Maguire-Drew since sealing a permanent move this month from Brighton. Into added time at the end of the half, and a splendid opportunity for Macaulay Bonne, but he could only fire over. On the other side of the interval, Orient's top scorer was involved again. Afforded time in the area, Bonne clinically got the better of Ross, doubling the hosts' advantage in East London. Leyton Orient are much improved from last season, which ended in a disappointing 13th placed finish. Thanks to Ross, Matt Harrold was unable to make it 3-0. Play at the Matchroom Stadium was then halted because of a pitch invasion by a squirrel. The squirrely Bonne was evidently on a mission of his own, perhaps in part due to recently having one of his goals from this campaign retrospectively removed. He was to get another chance to bury following a foul on James Brophy. Penalty dispatched, the O's sought after attackers onto a cast-iron 20 for the season, and with Still Stones convincingly beaten, Edinburgh's lot remain top of the league.
Solihull Moors' excellent season continued with last weekend's win at Maidenhead, a joint top with Leyton Orient heading into this weekend. They wanted 3 points against a strong Fylde side. Beforehand, Solihull assistant manager Gary Wilde spoke to Jeff Brazier about the Moors' brilliant campaign up to now.
It's well documented, if you like, that we've sort of gone under the radar now. So there's no pressure on us. When you look at the fan bases of the likes of Orient and Wrexham, the background at Salford, then really there's no pressure on us at all compared to them.
So confidence was high at Damson Park as Tim Flower's men welcomed AFC Fylde. The hosts had the better of the first half chances. Danny Wright denied at point-blank range by goalkeeper Jay Lynch. Then a lovely turn from Jamie Osborne preceded his effort, catching the wrong side of the bar. Fylde have ambitions of automatic promotion themselves, and knew a win at the very least would maintain a 4-point gap to the top. And after a goalless first half, the ever-dependable Danny Rowe was on hand for his 20th of the league season. Solihull have also had no problem in finding the net in recent games, with 10 goals in their previous 4 league matches, so it came as no surprise when Osborne did fire them level with the help of a deflection. But Fylde weren't to be denied, and Rowe moved clear at the top of the league scoring charts with a precise finish. The big striker proving invaluable once again for Dave Challoner's side.
People will say he's our best player. I think what he definitely is, he's the most difficult to replace, because replacing goals is, it's not nigh on impossible, but it's the toughest job. The toughest job of all is putting the ball in the back of the net. And again, we're thankful of him today getting 2, not having a massive amount of much else going on in the game, but he, like I say, he does what he does. He's a great finisher.
I'll be honest with you, we're probably 19 places further up than we thought we'd be. We've gone from 151 to 1 for the title to 9 to 2. And we were everyone's tip to go down at the start of the season. So we're doing something right, not everything, but you know, listen, we've already 3 points ahead of our tally from last year, and we've still got 15 games left. We're not, listen, forget us in terms of titles. You've got to be kidding me, ain't you? I mean, we are one of the smallest clubs in the division, just punching massively above our weight. And when you hear the reaction from their dressing room, you know what I mean? We must be some scalp.
The appeal of the National League extends now to one of the world's most recognisable sports personalities, David Beckham. The former England captains agreed to buy a 10% stake in Salford City, co-owning the promotion challengers with Manchester United's class of '92 and Singaporean businessman Peter Lim. Beckham's already in the ownership game with his Major League Soccer club Inter Miami debuting next year in the States.
I've been waiting for a while for it to happen, because when obviously the lads got involved with Salford, we all spoke about us all being involved, but you know, it's been 5 years of trying to get the team in Miami going, and now it's finally on its way. Now I'm able to get involved. Seeing the stories, seeing what they've done with the club, the stadium, and obviously having Peter is a huge part of this. It's a special group of people. To now be part of this incredible team, it's going to be exciting. We all have ambitions and we all have goals, and you have to have big ones and reach for the sky. Salford, it's where I grew up really, so I've got such great and fond memories, and when all of us are sat watching our team, it's going to be a proud moment.
FC Halifax Town away was the first test for a Beckham-involved Salford. The hosts had drawn their last 2 0-0. The clash featured a missed Danny Lloyd effort, an almost Beckham-worthy free kick by Matty Coslow, and an enterprising run by defender Michael Duckworth. But it's another goalless end for Halifax.
In all competitions, Sutton have been a strange beast of late. 3 draws in a row were followed by 4 wins, then 4 defeats in 5. Nevertheless, this form still sees them in the playoff places. They welcomed mid-table Ebbsfleet, who've proved a tough nut to crack in recent months. Their goalkeeper Nathan Ashmore keeping out this long-range effort from James Dobson. Sutton continue to push for an opener. Tom Bollarin were heading over with a goal at his mercy. Ebbsfleet, meanwhile, had netted an impressive 16 goals in 5 league matches, yet somehow substitute Cody McDonald missed both bites at the cherry as the visitors threatened in the second half. In fact, the Kent side had failed to find the net in their last 4 meetings with Sutton, and it was once again McDonald who failed to break that sequence. Sutton had scored at least 1 goal in each of their previous 9 matches, and just when it appeared the 2 sides would cancel each other out, Jim Torre popped up in the 94th minute to snatch the 3 points and leave Ebbsfleet licking their wounds.
I think we've all watched football, seen football over the years, that you see a team on top of another team. You're waiting for the ball to go in and it don't go in, all of a sudden you're going to say to yourself, deep in the injury time, they get their first corner and you go, here it goes, they're going to win the game, and that's what happens.
Wrexham hosted a team they'd never lost to, Maidenhead United, and are keen to build on their solid position this season among the playoffs. The Dragons came close to leading in the opening minute in North Wales. Luke Summerfield's cross was headed against the frame of the goal by Rakeel Pike. Then on the other side of the break, Pike was again involved for Graham Barrow's team. In a move that also included sub Luke Young, the end product rolled agonisingly wide. Wrexham were determined, having lost their previous 4. Deep into the second period, Pike set up the unmarked Young, who scored for the first time in almost 5 hours. Second in the tables, only a point away for the Dragons. The 4th of September was the last time Dagenham and Redbridge kept a clean sheet at home. Meanwhile, visitors Aldershot Town were without a victory in 10 matches. Peter Taylor's hosts attacked moments after the restart. A header by Lamar Reynolds was skillfully controlled by Connor Wilkinson, who proceeded to net past Will Mannion, scoring for an 8th time in 12 appearances for the Daggers. In an attempt to immediately respond from a corner, the stretching Bernard Mensah forced a save by the home side's keeper Elliot Justin. Dagenham were leading, but not tracking shots players around and inside their box. A Lewis Kinsella cross was converted by Mensah, who re-signed on loan this week from Bristol Rovers. The Daggers did go for victory at the end via the goal scorer Wilkinson. 1-1 it finished.
After struggling there for most of the early portion of the campaign, Hayes Lane has been a happy home of late for Bromley, with 4 straight victories. And Neil Smith's men welcomed an Eastleigh side without a clean sheet since mid-November, though the visitors came close to scoring first, as Chris Zabrowski could only head wide. The most notable incident of the first half saw Danny Holland come into contact with Bromley midfielder Adam Meckie. The latter came off the worse and unfortunately had to be carried from the pitch. Initially it didn't affect the London side, who crafted an excellent opportunity for substitute Carl Da Silva, denied by the covering challenge of Alex Winter. Despite their recent struggles at the back, Eastleigh were unbeaten in 10 league encounters with Bromley, and they ultimately stole the spoils. With just 2 minutes left of the 90, Andrew Boyce headed in to move the Spitfires within reach of the playoff places.
Draw experts Chesterfield were undefeated in 4, hosting a Barrow team that had failed to score in their previous 3. John Sheridan's hosts started strongly, racing into a one-on-one opportunity. Marc-Antoine Fortuné, who couldn't slot past Barrow's keeper Joel Dixon. At the other end, a chance for Jacob Blythe, but he also failed to find the back of the net in the Midlands. Into the second half, the Spireites were amazingly unable to bag, with multiple chances in one move. Will Evans and Tom Denton couldn't do the business, and nor could Alex Kiwomya. Denton was provided with another go, flashing a header over. And towards the end, it was back to where we started, but a one-on-one for Ian Evert's men this time. Shwan Jalal got the better of Jack Barthram and persisted to ensure the visitors didn't get sight of goal. Unfortunately for Lee Molyneux, the officials did see him clatter into Lee Shaw, resulting in a second yellow. A draw's Chesterfield's 15th of the season.
Two sides struggling for a win went face-to-face in what was the first home match for Gateshead since Steve Watson departed for York City. After a victory on Boxing Day, the Tynesiders had picked up just 2 points from a possible 15, which had seen them drop out of the playoff places, and they found themselves behind when Sean Shields scored his first Borehamwood goal just before half-time. The Woods' last win was also on Boxing Day, and after failing to effectively clear a corner, they failed to hold on to their lead. Scott Bowden finishing at the near post for his 11th of the season, which also makes him the club's top scorer for the campaign. From then on, it was all Gateshead as they pressed for a winner. Nice approach play created an opportunity for Tom White, who couldn't hit the target, before Bowden was given room in the penalty area, only for his near post strike to come back off the post. And the Heed had another excellent chance in added time. Stephen Rigg threw on goal, but George Legg ensured that both clubs remain winless in 2019.
I've got to give them credit. They're a good side. They've got some good individuals. But the last 20 minutes, I thought, we've had good chances. But the lads have held their hands up now. Both Riggy and Tom, they both said they should have scored.
Hosting Dover Athletic, Haventon Waterlooville went down to 10 men just after the half-hour mark. After pulling back Jamie Allen, Chris Robertson was shown a second yellow card by the referee Will Finney. And then from the resulting free kick, Ini Effiong thought he'd given Athletic the lead, but it was ruled out for offside. After the interval in Hampshire's rain, the visitors' Jai Reason was played through on goal, unable to find the net for Andy Hessenthaler's men. Then came two late chances after darkness had set in. From a corner, Havant's Matt Patterson was brilliantly denied on the line by Dan McNamara. And at the other end, sub Alfie Pavey was stopped by Ben Dudzinski in the Hawks' goal. Goalless it ended. Dover have lost only one of their last 11.
With Hakim Hayrettin leaving as Braintree manager, Danny Searle stepped in as caretaker boss for the Essex side's trip to Hartlepool. The Monkey Hangers had seen a coaching reshuffle of their own, with Richard Money moving into an advisory role and Craig Hignett back in the dugout for a third spell. And the former Middlesbrough striker saw his side fall behind in the latter end of the first half, Justin Amalazor finding the corner. But it didn't take long after the break for the game to be turned on its head via the diving head of Nicky Kabamba, the man on loan from Haventon Waterlooville, equalising in the 52nd minute. Following consecutive defeats, Hartlepool were desperate for a win, and just before the hour mark, they were provided the platform when Luke James was tackled by Ben Killett. Josh Hawkes was the man to convert the resulting penalty. It would prove to be the winner that leaves Braintree still adrift at the bottom.
And the message at half-time was, let's be tight, not concede 2 goals in 7 minutes like we did. So it was a bit frustrating. I was probably most disappointed about the reaction to the mistakes that we made as opposed to the mistakes.
What's the future for you? Is it, do you want the job, or is it someone else coming in?
100% until someone says to me, you can't. That's exactly what we'll be doing. And if I can be a part of that, and if I can help along with the staff, that's exactly what I want to do.
So Braintree remain at the foot of the table after losing their manager midweek and to Hartlepool at the weekend. There were no winners in the bottom 4 this time around, but Chesterfield's draw with Barrow moves them to within a point of Maidenhead. In fact, Halifax are the only side in the bottom half to move upwards. Their improvement means Barnet dropped to 17th. Leading the way, Leyton Orient have a little breathing space for now. They're 3 clear after their Maidstone victory and Solihull's loss at home to Fylde. Salford move up to 2nd, but slightly worrying for them and David Beckham, it's now 2 games without a win. Sutton, meanwhile, have strengthened their position among the top 7, and Eastleigh are asking questions too about the playoffs.
In the National League North, leaders Chorley travelled to York, who sat just outside the relegation places in what was a first home game in charge for ex-Gateshead boss Steve Watson. With 3 new signings in the side, York City were hoping to make an impression. Instead, Scott Leather was in the right place for the visitors for his first of the season. And barely a quarter of an hour had been played when a deflected free kick from Courtney Meppen-Walter wrong-footed goalkeeper Adam Bartlett. The home side were given a lifeline following Matt Irwin's foul. And although Jordan Burrow failed from the resulting spot kick, he didn't miss the second opportunity. But later in the second period, Chorley pressed home their advantage. Josh Wilson heading in across from Matt Challoner to make it 3-1. And the fourth arrived 6 minutes from time. The ball coming back off the post and into the path of Alex Newby, who couldn't miss. 6 wins from 7 for the pace setters as York City continue to struggle.
goes without saying I was expecting a tough start. Tough start, certainly what I've had. But, you know, the performance, if you look at it on a whole and take away the goals, I thought we'd done a lot of good things with the ball. I thought we attacked a lot more this week than we did last week. We created a lot more this week than we did last week.
Just thought we were relentless from start to finish, always on the front foot and looking to try and score, and we'd managed to score 4 away at York, which is a fantastic achievement.
I know we'll get better as a team. It's hard to take these 2 games. Always going to be tough. No real excuses for the goals we've conceded, apart from, you know, we know where the problem lies.
Well, Steve Watson's side are now just 1 place above the relegation zone in 19th, but their defeat to league leaders Chorley is no embarrassment. The leaders are unbeaten in 7 games now. In the National League South, Torquay United made up for their first defeat in 16 games last week by dispatching Oxford City 7-2. Second-placed Woking lost their first game in 11, but still have the chance to go top of the table if they can win their 2 games in hand.
Now, after our brilliant weekend of FA Cup 4th round football, there's a sensational fortnight of live and exclusive Champions League action on the way. Neymar and Paris Saint-Germain are at Old Trafford to face this rejuvenated Manchester United. The next day, Tottenham Hotspur also have a round of 16 first leg. Maurizio Pochettino's men take on Borussia Dortmund at Wembley. The following Tuesday, Liverpool host Bayern Munich on what could well be another famous European evening at Anfield. And Manchester City's first knockout stage clash of the season in the Champions League involves a club Pep Guardiola knows very well from his time in the Bundesliga, Schalke. You can only see all of these superb fixtures with us, all alive on BT Sport 2, with Liverpool United and Spurs also available on our 4K UHD channel. OK, so obviously there wasn't a barrel load of goals this weekend in the National League. So to make up for this slight disappointment, our expert producer has spent considerable time selecting 10 of the best goals from 2019 in the 5th tier. See you next time.